Welcome back, puppies. So, I've taken a couple weeks off from recording. I had a lot of stuff going on. I mentioned it in another video that may or may not get posted, so I'm not going to get into it here. Hopefully you haven't missed any video releases. Hopefully there haven't been any hiccups in those, because I have them scheduled. So there should be videos still releasing. Shouldn't have gotten behind, but that's always a possibility. So today I'm painting this guy. We're just gonna try to paint up his bag here and this arm sticking out of it, and maybe touch up these swords a little bit and the ropes here. I've already got all that stuff done on this guy. And this is the bald one. But there's a little area there where the paint chipped off, and the funny part is I'm pretty sure that's just down to the primer. Well, it might be down to the plastic, but either way, it's just a real small chip. I'll get a close-up of it here if I can. If you look at hit the upper part of his forearm, right in here on the elbow. That'll be real easy to touch up. For right now, let's get to painting this guy's bag. What do we want to use? What do we want to use? Let's use some model color khaki. It's kind of got a greenish tint to it, but it really just looks that way in the bottle, and then there where I have it on the drop on the cap, it actually does go down not quite as green. Go ahead and add a little bit of thinner to it, except model color is pretty thick. But I am using a wet palette, so don't need a whole lot of thinner. We can mix in some water. Well, I hope everybody's prepared for the holidays, because we're going into Christmas by the time you see this video. Although for me making it, it hasn't quite been Thanksgiving yet. Although that's right around the corner. I hope this time of year is seeing everybody doing well. All 12 of you are probably going to watch this. I'd say 12, I'm just being silly. I don't know. Some of my videos have like 20 to 40 views. Some of them have like 6. So I don't know. And it's also the fact this will be up on the internet for a while, and this is 2018, so somebody watching it in 2019 or 2022 might see a whole different number of views than what I typically get. Considering my channel at this point is not even a year old. I don't even know that I've hit the 6-month mark yet. If not, actually by the time you watch this, it might be coming up on 6 months. I think it was middle of summer when I ventured down this path. And I hope I'm painting on camera. It just now occurred to me I'm kind of up here and it may not be on camera. So I apologize for that, because I wasn't looking up at the screen. Because I'm probably not going to edit this. It's probably going up as is. I'm going to edit it and do a voiceover dub. Taking advantage of having the house to myself this morning. Kids are at school, wife's at work. I've got to take care of my father later today. I mentioned this in another video that may or may not get posted, so perhaps I will touch down on some of this stuff in this video. My father's lived with me for the last 4 years, and his health took a nosedive. And we sent him to skilled nursing care, but it doesn't look like his health's going to get well enough that we can bring him home. So he's probably going to have to go into a nursing home, which is essentially just another part of the building that he's already in, really. So that's made for a rather busy week. Which I touched down on in the other video that again may or may not get posted. So if it does get posted and you've already watched that, forgive the redundancy here. But that video was just kind of a warm-up for this one. Originally it was going to be one video, but that ended up stretching it into 30 minutes. And I want to try to keep my videos under 30 minutes. And the first 30 minutes was just me kind of going over another Kickstarter that I got and talking a little bit about these guys. And it was another Kickstarter, a Kobold Kickstarter that fulfilled earlier this week. Damn, that's a big old seam line. Wish I would have noticed that before. Would have been easy to sand down. I'm not going to mess with it now. These guys are meant for my gaming table. They're not commissioned. They're not going up on eBay. So I haven't actually recorded in a couple weeks. This is my second recording, not counting the one I made just we're 6, almost 7 minutes into this one. So yeah, I just recorded 30 minutes prior to this. First time I've had the camera on in 2 weeks because I've been busy with schoolwork and trying to deal with my father going into the hospital. So now I have the base coat on here. Eventually I'm going to hit it with a wash, but for now while that base coat's drying, I'm going to get out some different paints, probably paint on the swords a little bit. Then while they dry, I'm going to paint the arm. Then when that dries, I might come back to the swords, then eventually back to the sack, and the sack's going to get a wash. It's going to wind up looking something like this, guys. That's his lunch sack. This is lunch sack. You know them people in there gonna get ate. They'll get munched on. Yeah, I'm gonna have some go juice. Whenever you hear me talking about my go juice, man, this is it right here. I busted this open on the other video, but I poured into a cup. Excuse me. Alright, so we're working on swords. Looks like I already have some metallic paint thrown down there. It's kind of hard to tell though. Why do I do that? I rested my finger on wet paint. I know better. So even though I haven't been recording, I have been painting sporadically. I finished up a tortoise miniature from Dark Sword, the Tortoise Wizard, and the Apprentice. And then I've been painting these two for Sculpting, Painting, and Gaming Facebook group. These are a couple hassle-free miniatures. There's a contest right now for the month of November. Paint 30 days a day, every day in November. I've already missed one day because I've been a little busy, but other than that, I've been doing pretty good, and I got some stuff accomplished. But I was saving these guys because I didn't really want to do a whole lot more on them without recording. Some of it to go along with the series, to at least finish out the series. And then a separate video that I may make today, depending on how much time I've got. Forgot what I was saying. Oh, the bases. Yeah. I don't have the bases started yet, but I was going to make a kind of a prep video just to kind of show how I kind of start sketching out my ideas. I usually paint the figure first and then go to the base. Figure out what I want to do with the base. Maybe a little bit of silver paint. Heavy metal, scale color. I'll try that. So there's a little bit more. Yep, that'll work for what I want. For the hilt and the pommels. What? Excuse me. Yeah, the last video that I recorded, the one that I recorded just moments prior to this one, probably would have been better as some kind of live stream, but I don't have the capabilities of that just yet because the camera I have, I don't have the right hookups to go to the computer and do live, and it doesn't have Wi-Fi. I need to get another camera eventually that does have that stuff on there. But I bought this camera and didn't read over the specifications well enough. I did, and it had the features I was looking for, and it was in my price range, but I should have splurged and spent a little bit extra and got the one that had the Wi-Fi on it. I just thought I'd be able to plug this one in and go direct. I don't know if I'm off. Am I off monitor there? I might have been off camera. Yeah. It's a good camera, don't get me wrong. It's actually an excellent camera for what I'm doing with it, but it just, you know, doesn't have all the features. Be a great camera for taking on vacation and making videos, though. If you're into that sort of thing, if you go on vacations. And I don't mean that sarcastically. My wife and I do now that we have children, but honestly, prior to having children, I really didn't. They were more staycations, but I didn't really ever go anywhere. But now that me and the wife have some chillins, we try to go do stuff every summer. Oh, somebody's talking to me. Good morning. It looks like we're going to be cold for the park tomorrow, so we're moving. Oh, it's about birthday party my little buddy's going to. My little buddy Reese, my youngest son. Alright, I'm going to paint the pommels a different color when I paint them over there. Yeah. We're just going to grab a color here. And this is the color I grabbed. For the handles on the swords. I don't know. I was trying to decide on whether we're going to paint two alike or... Let's come back and touch up that spear tip. That's no big deal. It's not the end of the world. Alright. There's a lot of paint just for the sword handle. Let's grab another color. Let's grab green. Bam. Sick green. Game Air. Well, 15 minutes. Let's try to hurry up. I want to try to keep my videos You know, go ahead and post in the comments. Let me know. I mean, if you're into long videos, like I don't mind long videos, but sometimes I don't have the time to dedicate to watching it all at once. I will actually skip it and go and watch shorter videos. So yeah, maybe we'll find another use for those drops of paints on there. It is a wet palette. I can stick them somewhere later because I'm going to pick a different color. I'm getting text messages. Probably need to start reading them. I read that one, but right now it's about me and you. Me and the 12 people that are going to watch this video when it posts. My patrons will get a shot at it first. They'll probably be the ones watching it towards the end of December, I think. Some of you guys might not get to see it till January. I'm not sure. Can't remember the schedule off the top of my head. But right now, if I can stick to painting on camera, because these handles actually have a lot of dimension to them, you know, the way I grip wood. So I probably need to throw a wash on them. I'll probably come back and do that just to help bring out the depth to them, the texture. Alright, now let's go back to the arm. And for that, I'm specifically using a couple of brushes. Excuse me, I had my brush in my mouth, so my mind was on my brushes. I'm specifically using a couple of paints because I want it to give kind of a dead, not completely blood-drained look, but pretty close to it. So I'm using scale colors. These have become, this line, scale color, or this company I should say, not just this fantasy games line, but this company, have quickly become one of my favorites. Like prior to this, I was a big Vallejo guy. I like Reaper. I have some GW stuff, not much, just a couple of their washes, because I don't really like their pots. And then P3, I don't really like their pots either, because it's basically the same, just kind of a different version of the way some other companies are set up like this. But for the P3, it's because they got such excellent paints. I kind of overlook the delivery method. But these guys right here, Scale Color, have become my favorites. Army Painter. These are some other good paints. I love their washes. Their washes are kind of my favorite washes. Their paints are really good paints, but they're awfully thick. But these guys are nice and creamy. They're a little richer than the Vallejo stuff, but they're not as thick as the model color line, and they're a little creamier than the game color line. So they're a really good paint, in my opinion. Really good paint to work with. But as I was saying, I'm using these two colors, these two particular from the fantasy game lines of Scale Color, Moonray Flesh and Harvester Flesh. Harvester Flesh is going to be the base coat, and the Moonray will be the highlight. And again, I chose these two tones because I want the arm to look like whoever it belongs to is already dead, right? They're long suffocated, or they were dead before they were ever put in that damn lunch sack of the giants. So there's not a whole lot of blood flow going on in that arm. Let me touch up this guy real quick here. We'll come back and highlight that with some Moonray here in a bit. But right now, as a base coat, using the Harvester Flesh. You know, I started to say something earlier, and I don't know that I completed my thought, so I'm going to come back to it real quick. You guys that are watching this, about whether you prefer long videos or whether you like me to try to keep them under 30 minutes, go ahead and post it in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. I don't get a lot of comments on my views, and I'm not trying to beg or plead for them, but if you guys let me know, then maybe I can tailor my videos to those of you who are actually watching them, make the experience a little better. If you don't have a preference, go ahead and sign off too. Let me know. Shout out in the comments. Say it's whatever, man. Or say longer, shorter. Just let me know. See right there, I got a nice thin coat. I'm kind of putting a second one on here, but I like the way that turned out. So we're in the 20-minute mark. I'm going to go ahead and record for a little bit longer. This video might stretch a bit over 30 minutes. I'm probably going to do it off camera because I don't want to stretch the video out too much, but the ropes were just done with some elfic flesh from the Game Color Vallejo, and then I went back and I hit it with I can't remember what I highlighted it with, just another white, probably closer to a pure white or maybe an ivory. And I didn't even bother putting a wash on those because I think the texture and the shading, because it was a thin coat of paint, so it worked out. I don't think I need a wash on there. Again, these are just for my tabletop gaming. They're not a commission piece or a showpiece. Yeah, I think we're ready. How's that set up? That's set up pretty good. We're going to throw the wash on just so you guys can see me go to town with a wash. You know what? I forgot to paint this little booger down here. Part of another sack he's carrying. This one's got the accessories in it. Maybe his condiments and his utensils. Those swords, you know. Like he's going to use them like a skewer for his lunch meat in the sack. Because, you know, he's giant and that's what they do. They eat people. They eat small people. Alright. So I'm going to let that set up before I actually throw a wash on it. I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to utilize some of these other colors I already have down on the palette from earlier. I'm just going to start throwing them on here. And this will probably get a wash because I don't use this purple as a base very much. It's usually like my highlight color. Or I'll mix it with the other one for a mid-tone. And then use this as the highlight. I got another color I could throw in there to probably add bring it up a notch, but most likely I'll just throw a wash on it to darken the recesses. And I am over painting a little bit, but I'm not worried about it because I'm going to go back and paint the metal links later. Just get one more thing in the video here. See, there's actually 2 layers there. I'm probably going to paint this bottom layer a different color. I might go with the green. Should I go with the green, or what's that other color? It was a turquoise. So I hope you guys that are watching never have to go through making that decision to put a parent in a nursing home. My dad and I weren't super close, so I'll spare you all that. I mean, he's lived with me the last 4 years, but I was actually raised by his mom and dad. So we weren't super close, but it was still not an easy decision to make, you know. But I've got a wife and 2 children, and I've got to think about them. You know, they come first when it comes to family. They are the priority. So just hope you guys watching never have to make that call. I do like the way this is shaping up. And it's cool too that it got recorded, even though we are 26 minutes, that's not bad. But like, you know, those colors I threw down were actually kind of random, but they're complementary colors. Like I could use, well, you can't see the palette, but if you remember those colors, if I can get the palette up here on camera. Okay, there we go. These colors I threw down earlier just for the sword hilts were kind of random. At least they were, I didn't think about it consciously. But both this green and this turquoise can kind of complement the purple. So I could go with green, and that would be like right out of an artist's playbook, right? If you pay much attention to the color wheel. It's a complementary. It's not the like direct opposite on the color wheel, but it's the like not one that's like a 90-degree from it. But I could use the turquoise. I don't know. Let's throw a little turquoise on there and see what it looks like. Let me decide it's too much. I don't know. That's kind of awfully pastel-y. I don't know. Yeah, I may just go with the green. Green and purple kind of work together. Although now it's going to be mixed in with that turquoise, because I didn't let the turquoise dry before I started painting over it. That's okay. For this first layer, it won't matter too much. It's going to essentially make a very blue-green, is what it's going to make. And I'm okay with that. Because another coat after this one dries will clean that up. And bring it back into the green spectrum. And actually, if I would have played that right, the blue-green in the recesses would make a really good shadow. Huh. I'll have to make a mental note of that for later. Not necessarily on this model, but on another model. I might have to experiment using that as a shade. Alright. Let's slop some paint over here too. I say slop, I'm actually trying to be careful because I don't want to fuck up his toes, because I've already highlighted his toes. And I've already overpainted on the other one just a smidge. I'm going to have to go back and fix it. So try and not fuck up, man. Try and not fuck up. You like that word? Fuck? I do. It's a very fitting word. Very seldom have I ever actually used it in conjunction with its actual definition. It's usually just a filler word. Those greens don't really look alike because that one's got the turquoise mixed in with it. It's got a much darker hue. I kind of like that. Screw it. We're gonna mix them together and see what happens here. I should have taken some of the excess water. So I mixed in a little bit of water. Alright. Doesn't really stick out on his freaking feet, man. I don't know. Really clashes. I'm gonna have to think about it. I may end up coming back and just painting over that with some browns or some reds, because it's really clashing with his overall scheme right now. I don't know. But either way, right now, let me move this guy before I knock him down and chip more paint. Before we highlight that on, I'm going to go ahead and throw in my Agrax Earthshade. Yeah, baby. I gotta be careful not to get my blah. Blah. That's what we have to say about that. Blah. There's so much of it here. Let it run, let it run. Get up in them fingers. Here, I better put my lid on that and scoot it away, because I'm not going to have to dip back into that for a moment. I got plenty out the first time, I think. Even for up here. All right. Oh man, you saw where smudge some more. The more I look at that, the more I really don't like it. I'm gonna have to come back over it probably with I don't know. Let's see. What happens if we hit that purple with khaki? It's going to take a couple of coats, but it'll work. Yeah, that purple was looking kind of harsh. My eyeballs, my mind just could not comprehend that purple, and I don't know why, because like that turquoise kind of goes good, and back here all the colors, the reds and blues, all blend well, but there's just something about using those colors, man. Made it too loud. My eyeballs couldn't stand all the noise. Steady. Steady. Alright, we got that tamed down a little bit. So I might leave that other part. Let's come back and try to bring it in more into the green spectrum. I don't know. We'll see. Well, I'm probably going to go ahead and shut the video down here because I got other stuff I need to run and take care of. And then I'll come back and try to record some more. Alright. And it'll be on this guy. I still got to touch up and highlight again on that arm. I'm going to be using the Moonray Flesh to give it kind of a dead hue to it. These guys are about done. I need to paint their fingernails. I'll probably record that. Well, I figured that out. You guys take it easy. Bark on, puppies. Be kind to each other.